Dexter Resurrection Episode 7 dropped a few days ago, and while Episode 6 ended with that ominous cliffhanger, this week's installment was less explosive and more unsettlingly quiet. But that's exactly why it demands a closer look. This episode lays the groundwork for some shocking possibilities in the finale, and maybe even beyond, and I've got theories you won't want to miss. I'll explore them all, saving the biggest and boldest for last. But first, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen episode 7 or the earlier episodes, turn back now. Let's start with a quick recap. Dexter has escaped Batista and headed to New York to protect his son, Harrison, still haunted by the events at the end of New Blood. Believing he killed his own father, Harrison snapped when confronted by a violent sexual predator at the hotel where he works. He killed the man and disposed of the body just as his father taught him, and is now a person of interest in an investigation led by NYPD detective Claudette Wallace, a brilliant cop obsessed with catching the elusive New York Ripper. While watching over his son, Dexter hears about another serial killer nicknamed the Dark Passenger, who's been targeting cab drivers. The story comes from Blessing Camara, a kind man who quickly befriends Dexter. Through Blessing, Dexter becomes a UR driver himself and finds a place to rent. His pursuit of the Dark Passenger triggers a chain of events. He kills Ronald Red Schmidt and assumes his identity, which leads to an invitation into an ultra-secret club of serial killers. The club is run by Leon Prater, a billionaire with a morbid fascination for death and an extensive collection of serial killer memorabilia. The club's logistics and its risk management are handled by Charlie, a formidable woman with a background in military operations and espionage. His first few forays into this dark guild allow him to get back to his old ways, big time, since he is presented with a roster of unrepentant murderers without having to do any research and vetting on any of them. Dexter disposes of Lowell, aka the tattoo collector, and briefly considers a romantic entanglement with Mia LaPierre, a sophisticated socialite whose murderer alter ego apparently focuses uniquely on sexual predators. This prompts Dexter to entertain the idea that Mia could have a code like him, but in one of the most disappointing turn of events, she reveals her true colors when asking Dexter to share a kill, and admitting that her portrait was concocted by the media, but she simply enjoys killing men, whether innocent or not. This presents Dexter with a fantastic opportunity, framing Mia LaPierre for the murder committed by Harrison by planting a watch among her trophies. This gets Harrison off the hook and rekindles the father-son relationship due to Dexter being there for him. Mia, as not too hard to foresee, dies in prison in a fake suicide orchestrated by Charlie on Prater's request, and Dexter's fake identity as Red Schmidt is on shaky grounds since 2 of the club members have encountered suspicious fates since he arrived. Despite the risks, Dexter also takes out Gareth, aka the Gemini Killer, right before being summoned by Leon Prater for a helicopter ride to his private island. In another shocking twist, we are presented with Gareth back from the dead and joining the trip. At this point, Dexter and we, the viewers, figure out that the Gemini Killer was in fact a duo, 2 twins operating under one single identity and communicating through carefully placed notes. This marked the ending of Episode 6, and Episode 7 sees Dexter giving a presentation on the private island mansion that deeply touches Prater's heart and mind, which gets him closer to and more enthralled with our protagonist, and later killing the remaining twin under everyone's eyes while framing it as self-defense. Once back to Manhattan, Dexter joins Harrison at the criminology university his son has set his eyes onto. In one of the most tense scenes ever, they both attend a presentation on the New York Ripper led by Detective Wallace, who has been filled on Batista's theories about Dexter being the Bay Harbor butcher and Harrison his apprentice. Dexter, during a brief exchange post-presentation, nonchalantly suggests to Wallace that the blood spatters in the slides are consistent with a different weapon than she believed to be used by the New York Ripper for his or her horrifying murders. He later drives Harrison back to the hotel and once home finds Batista at Blessing's place. In a heartbreaking sequence, Dexter warns Batista to stay away from him and his son, and Batista leaves his ear-set case in the cab, which allows him to track his old colleagues' movements. And that's where episode 7 leaves us, with Batista holding the means to follow Dexter's every move and the dangerous possibility that their long game of cat and mouse is about to turn deadly. It's a perfect setup for the finale, and it opens the door to some truly explosive theories about where this season and maybe the entire Dexter saga is headed next. Let's begin with the true villain. Dexter Resurrection is currently sitting at a 94% critic score and an 86% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, the latter being an average of more than 1,000 reviews. This makes the new series a huge success, and I have been absolutely enraptured with it. It did an amazing job at going back to the roots of the original show, because it's dark, violent, and funny in equal measure, and it also weaves a captivating plot, introducing new compelling characters, and makes for a great combination of the original series and new blood. It isn't over yet, so what I'm about to tell you is bound to change, but so far I have only one issue with the series: it still lacks an intimidating adversary for our dark hero. None of the bad guys he's taken out so far have presented a serious challenge for him, and in the original series we were always presented with a clear villain around the 3/4 mark of each season. We still don't know who the overarching adversary is, but there are currently 6 characters to pick from. 1. Leon Prater, 2. Charlie, 3. Blessing, 4. Detective Oliva, the work partner of Detective Wallace, 5. Elsa Rivera, 6. The New York Ripper, whom we haven't seen yet. A lot of the theories bouncing around the internet suggest the New York Ripper's true identity to be either Leon Prater or Blessing or Oliva. Some other theories claim the Ripper to be a character who survived the original series, specifically the son of the Trinity Killer, Jonah Mitchell. The last theory is quite fascinating, and I do not rule out the possibility that if Resurrection becomes an ongoing series, several characters will be brought back for both fan service and engaging arcs. That said, it would make no sense to introduce yet another player in what is already a significant lineup. I thought long and hard about whether the Ripper is being set up as an enemy for later seasons, but my line of thinking is that this is not the case. There has been way too much foreshadowing and anticipation for it. I think the Reaper will be revealed by the end of the season, and that it was never the showrunners and writers' intention to set it up for later seasons. Quite simply, Resurrection has a lot going for it, because of how upset the audience was with the endings of both the original series and New Blood. They knew they had to deliver an explosive season to revive the franchise, and the only way for this to happen is to deliver a truly satisfying ending and twist that involves both Dexter and Harrison. How can they do that? By defying fans' expectations and giving us something truly unexpected. Marketing has led us to think, since before the show's first 2 episodes were released, that Peter Dinklage's character is the main villain, and we know that Prater has a deep connection with the Ripper, due to the fact that the serial killer's first murders happened in a neighborhood where the billionaire grew up, and as per his narration, it was a poor neighborhood. What I've been thinking about is this: what if Prater is meant to be a regular in the cast of this and future seasons, and that he will try to get rid of Dexter thanks to Batista? He seems to be very taken with his club, and I suspect when he finds out that Dexter is the one who ruined it, he will be both mad and attracted to him. The storyline that seems to be going nowhere right now is Harrison's relation with Elsa, and Elsa's ongoing dispute with her landlord. I wonder, why give this character so much screen time if she's not important to the plot? Then I realize the Ripper kills young women. What better way to find victims than renting crappy apartments to young, broke women. By using this moniker, they wanted to create an association with Jack the Ripper, and Jack the Ripper killed poor women. Prostitutes, yes, but destitute as well. My theory is that Vinny the landlord is in fact the New York Ripper, and that he will soon make his move on Elsa. This will prompt Harrison to defend her, and Dexter to help Harrison take out this monster. But here lies the catch. Harrison wants to work in law enforcement, and Wallace has the hots for him and his father. What if Dexter and Harrison cooperate to catch the Ripper and deliver him to Wallace? This would result in Harrison getting an internship at the department, becoming Wallace's apprentice, and, drums rolling, Dexter joining once again a police department as a blood spatter analyst. I doubt Wallace would completely rule out her suspicions. The original show always relied on such a setup to create ongoing tension and conflict. Wallace would want to keep son and father close to her, to keep investigating on them, making her yet another cop who secretly doubts our hero's true nature while working with him. This, in my opinion, is the best outcome for Resurrection's ending, because for the series to go on and still be compelling, we need a setup that can generate tense situations, and Dexter being free to kill without someone breathing down his neck is not an enticing scenario. This twist does take place. It wouldn't just resurrect Dexter Morgan, it would resurrect the original show itself, giving a whole new meaning to the word resurrection in the title. I'm not yet clear on Batista's fate. The most likely possibility, in my opinion, is that he will tell Prater about his theory and that he will die before the end of the season, but I can also see Angel getting on Prater's payroll for future seasons. That's it for today, guys. Please let me know what you think about these theories, and let's hope there are many more adventures for our favorite serial killer and for his apprentice down the line.